Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sue Lonnie Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by our friends at Greater Spokane Incorporated, Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe, We Vote, and Better Spokane. Now, here's Sue Lonnie.
Okay, well, welcome to Meet the Candidate. Our guest for this session is Leonard Christian, who is running for Spokane County Assessor. Welcome, Leonard.
Thank you for having me here today, Silani.
Glad you could come into the station. And same format we do with everybody. Just start with, tell me about where you grew up and where you went to school.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one right here in Spokane. So.
Well, then the obvious question is you got to name the schools because that's how every conversation starts.
Absolutely. So we moved here shortly after the World's Fair and Expo was over with in '74. And so I went to Gary Junior High. Was the first. I didn't actually go to elementary school here, but went to Gary Junior High. And it was shortly after it opened, so it was pretty modern at the time. It was pretty neat. I can remember riding my bicycle through Northtown Mall, but of course, it was an open-air mall then, right. So it's not like it is now. You wouldn't get away with that now, but it was kind of fun as a young kid growing up. And in fact, I remember skating at Patterson's where I met my lovely bride. I asked her to couple skate. She didn't realize it was going to be a lifelong commitment. So I have wonderful memories of growing up here in Spokane, and it just the people here, the community, and it's just managed to stay that way. The community here in Spokane is amazing.
Okay, so which high school?
Oh, which high school? Ferris High School, actually.
Oh, really?
We had moved from the north side out to the sort of the valley, more the South Hill, just as I started high school. So all 4 of my years was at Ferris High School. So my wife was from Meade. I was from Ferris. She was the teacher's pet. I was the teacher's nightmare. So absolute opposites, but we get along so well, probably because of those opposites. So.
Well, after managing to get out of Ferris as the teacher's nightmare, what did you go on to do after that?
Well, this is kind of neat. 9 days after I graduated high school, just 9 days, I married my lovely bride. So that was over 34 years ago. And then 2 weeks later, about that, I was in the United States Air Force down in Texas, going, "What have I just done?" So married a couple weeks later off to Texas. Well, it was a neat career. I stayed over 20 years, learned everything from how to fix airplanes to run shops to I did recruiting service where I became number 10 in the nation, running out of Kalispell, Montana as a recruiter. Covered the entire western half of the state of Montana. I went through 3 government cars for high mileage in
Montana.
In 4 years I was there. I had to go through 3 cars for too many miles on them, and so loved the career there. My last one was in New Mexico, but before that, I was in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, I was going to ask if you had any
for travel. So we had our first duty station was McCord over near Seattle, followed by recruiting, followed by Arizona, and then after about a year in Arizona, they needed a specialized mechanic in Sydney, Australia, and my number just got chosen. And so it was amazing to be able to take your family down there and live in just outside of Sydney there, which was a lot of fun. And then I got to do some tours in Korea, a few weeks there. But for the most part, we had just arrived in Sydney, and literally about 30 days later, 9/11 happened.
Oh.
And so that was an amazing time to see the change in security and policies and down there in Australia. So.
That was interesting. What was the reaction from the Australian public?
Well, people don't kind of realize this, but Australians love Americans but hate America. It's weird. So they'll sit there and buy you dinner or whatever while they run down your country and love on you. So as long as you can separate the two, which was very hard to do for somebody in the military, but as long as you could do that, these people would treat you so incredibly nice. So for things kind of, the reaction down there was they actually sympathized with America. And we had the police department was driving by our house a couple of times a day. It was amazing how they just protected us and came together, because we were like the symbol in the Sydney area of these Americans. There was only 14 of us. So they really just came alongside us and provided a lot of, I'd say, love and community, because they just wanted to make sure that we felt safe there in their community. So,
Well, that certainly comes under the interesting places you've traveled.
yes, and I love traveling. My wife and I have a motorhome, and we just drive around all the different parks. Last year, I think we went to Yosemite, Yellowstone, Zion, and Bryce, and several others. Just last year, we just decided to do some traveling. So my retirement allows me to do a lot of fun things, like run for office, that some other folks wouldn't be able to do.
Well, what prompted you to run for office?
Well, after I got out of the Air Force in 2005, I started getting involved in helping other people, and got involved and became a precinct committee officer, a district leader, got on the board. In fact, I think I'm the longest serving member on the Republican board. And that kind of sparked my interest on how can I help folks get into office. Well, then we were sitting around the table, and they said, hey, we don't have anyone to run in 2010 for county auditor. I said, I was joking. I just, I'll do it. And I was just kind of kidding. But everyone starts clapping. Yeah, we got a candidate. I'm like, what did I do? So I learned how to do a campaign in 2010, which was kind of neat, because I had no idea what I was doing. But then all of those friendships and all the work and helping other folks got me appointed in 2014 to the state legislature, and where I was able to pass a law. I mean, we were in a short session. Literally, I got told on Thursday I had to start on Monday, so no time. I got in there, I just got busy right away, and this opportunity came up to be the primary sponsor on a bill that protected citizens' personal information. And so basically it had to be destroyed after it was gathered, and its useful purpose was over. Yeah. And so the Governor Inslee signed it, and I thought that was pretty neat, in a short time actually getting a bill passed. But it was because I learned how to get along with all of the folks and do what was the common and the best interest. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this is a good time to give you that opportunity to answer the question of how do you see the duties of this elected office? And assessor is a good one to describe that to people, because it's one most people don't pay attention to. And then why should voters choose you to be the county assessor?
Well, thank you. You're right. Assessor is not one of those races that everyone is just dying to mark on their ballot. Yeah. But they don't understand how important the assessor is. I'm currently a realtor, and that gives me a different perspective. So when I look at a house, I don't just see a parcel number or an address. I actually see a family behind that door, somebody who's worked hard to achieve the great American dream, and every home is unique. It's important that the assessment be accurate so those folks aren't paying too much and have a burden on them. So the assessor is responsible for budgets and their manpower. This office has 43 people in it, and the policies that are set, how you use mass appraisals, per se. And so then you come alongside these folks, and you have to put the heart in it. You have to provide customer service at the same time. And so I believe that my skill set, the investments I've made in my education and my master's degree, actually go along really well with this job title. In fact, when I was asked by a few folks in office to please consider this, I brought up what the duties were, and I'm like, yeah, check. Wow, it's like they wrote this thing for my experience. And so I went home and talked to my wife, and she goes, yeah, I think this is the perfect opportunity for you, Leonard. So jumped in with both feet and running and enjoying my campaign.
Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck and enjoy your campaign season.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for coming in, Leonard.
You bet.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks thanks our community-minded partners, Greater Spokane Incorporated, the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe We Vote, and Better Spokane for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.